I'm the shit. I'm the shit. Yo, I'm the shit.
There we go.
Numbers moving?
Numbers are moving.
All right. We like numbers moving. That's how we do things here on Sanitary Handshake.
Sanitary Handshake. One of the finest podcast names I've ever heard.
I'm glad you like it. It took 3 episodes to name the thing, and it wasn't even named from those. So, we've got my guest today, Dan McCarthy.
Hi.
And as always, I'm still Steve Fudge. That's what's up. So what's going on, Dan McCarthy?
We are on our way to what's sure to be a wonderful show down in St. Stephen, New Brunswick.
Yes, we are doing the People's Pub. We're both doing sets tonight. It should be a good time with Brian Godso and the Reverend Brian Giles, the Bee Gees, I call them.
Yes. I think we all call them that at this point.
I think we do. We've also got Ian Esty on the show.
Yeah, that should be fun. And who else? There is one more person, is there? I know that
maybe.
is it.
There might be.
You're right. I think it's just me, you, the Bee Gees, and Esty. That's right.
I don't know. I'm driving, so I can't.
You know what?
I can't look at the poster.
I would appreciate it if you would look at the poster while you're driving.
Oh, well, okay then.
Yeah, it should be a good show. All the comics that are on there are usually a pretty decent hit. So it's a big night for New Brunswick comedy. There's a No Jokes Bar going on too. It's a big
there's
night.
a No Jokes Bar going. No Jokes Bar Deluxe tonight.
Yeah.
I think there's a show at Chuckles maybe.
There very well could be.
Or maybe Chuckles is next week. I'm not even sure.
Yeah.
I know that Yuck Yucks is going strong.
Of course.
What else is there?
That'd be it for comedy.
I thought there was one more. Doesn't matter. Our show is the important one tonight.
That's right.
And Dan McCarthy he told me he's going to do some new material this evening.
Yes. Well, it's as you know, I'm a one-liner comedian, and I've got about 32 of them written down, and I'm going to say you probably haven't seen about 14 or 15 of them.
Then this excites me.
Yeah. They're...
It's been no secret to the world that you're my favorite comic in St. John and the surrounding area.
I appreciate that.
There's a close tie for second, and they don't need to know yet.
All right. Well, fuck number 2 and number 3 though. Like,
right,
number 1 is the one that matters, and that's me, because I'm the best at doing the jokes.
Yeah. You guys, when you and Keenan did the one-liners, battle, that was fucking hilarious.
That was awesome, and he did so well. Like, I was going to kind of go the same route he did and do mostly new stuff, but being the one-liner king of the area, as I've been dubbed by myself and a few others, I kind of wanted to ensure victory, so I kind of I put in some ones I knew were going to be big hits, and they were, and I won. But he did almost all new material. Out of all the 25, we went 25 for 25. Out of his 25, 24 of them were brand new. He had never done on stage before.
Yeah, and that's wild. That
is so impressive.
That was a risk he took, but it was a good one because he did have some really good material.
He still did great, yeah. And he, I think that it should be something he just pulls out once in a while. Just do the one-liners, because he's really good at them. He's really good at them, and I don't take that. That's my favorite style of humor. So I'm a pretty harsh critic of it.
Yeah,
like when I see bad one-liner comics, which aren't very common, but when you see some that they're more, I like a good groaner, but like ones that they don't have a whole lot of depth to them.
Yeah, if it's all groaners, then
yeah. Well, there's an art to that too. There is an art to that too.
Yeah. Now I grew up watching Stephen Wright.
Yes.
And he was one of my favorites.
He's one of the best ever.
He is one of the best one-liner comics of all time.
Yeah.
Rodney Dangerfield, of course.
Of course.
And Mitch Hedberg.
Mitch Hedberg is, I think, in terms of quality, the best, but I'm going to give the edge to Dimitri Martin for my personal favorite, just because of the amount of material he has.
Yeah, I feel like he kind of just picked up where Mitch left off.
Yeah.
And I miss Mitch. I wish I could see more Mitch.
Yeah, I wish more apparently there is a bunch.
He needs to stop dying.
If he could just come back to life for just a little bit, just tweet a couple of things.
And I'm going to plug him for a second, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
I know he's not alive or anything, but a lot of people don't know that he actually does have a third CD that was put out posthumous.
Yes.
Called Do You Believe in Gosh?
Yes.
His wife and some friends pooled their money together to produce it. So pick that up, people.
Yeah, it's a damn good album. I've listened to it several times.
Cool. What else can we talk about Dan McCarthy?
That's a very good question, Steve. I really don't know Steve Fudge very well. I know that you're a comedian. I know that you wear a hat.
I do wear.
Yes.
I wear that hat.
I have. You're just like one of the people that I've seen around the city a lot, whether like long before comedy, because you're a recognizable guy.
Yeah,
you're
that's
tall. You've got that hat. You've had roughly the same facial hair since 2002. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So
I was
you're
the only kid in grade 5 with a mustache that did that.
Yeah. You're a pretty recognizable dude. So even long before I knew of Steve Fudge the comedian, I knew of the guy with the hat. I didn't know your name,
Yeah,
but I knew of you as a person.
Yeah, I'm called the guy with the hat a lot still.
Yeah.
To this day.
Well, it's not a common hat.
No, and when I don't wear the hat, people don't recognize me sometimes.
I can see that. You're more hat than
they're
man.
all like, "Whoa, where's the hat? I didn't even know you had hair."
Yeah. I assumed you were bald. Honestly, I just
that the hat also contained the hair stitched around the ends.
Well, I knew that you had like the long in the back, but I thought it might have been like a skullet type situation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But no,
like,
full head of hair.
All right, good for you, man. Because
Yeah.
I understand you're roughly 40.
Yeah.
So you still got the full head of hair at 40. That's damn impressive.
Not bad, eh? I'm not even totally gray yet. I got a bit of bacon strips, but
Yeah.
not fully gray yet either.
Yeah. I'm 30 and I'm starting to get a little bit of the gray, and the recession is happening a little bit in the front. Just a bit.
Distinguished.
Yeah. My dad died when he was 40, and he never lost a hair. So I'm hoping that I follow more in his footsteps than any of the other.
Yeah, that would be good. I've actually done better than my dad because he's still got a full head of hair, but his hair was fully white by the time he was 30.
Oh yeah.
So I got 10 years on still brown hair.
Good.
Doing all right.
That's good.
Yeah.
I haven't started getting gray in the pubes yet, but that's going to happen shortly, I'm sure.
So, okay, what else can you learn about me? I'm also a musician, singer-songwriter.
I knew that. Curbside Prawjek.
Yeah, I'm also a hip-hop artist.
Yes.
Aside from that, I play guitar and write acoustic songs.
Okay.
Grab a CD. I think there's one in the back of the seat there.
Okay.
You can have one.
All right, cool.
I just give those away because they're old.
Okay, cool. And I noticed that on the CD is the way you hold the mic. You hold the mic very uniquely, even when you're doing stand-up.
Like like
you're blowing it.
like a fine glass of wine, or like I'm cupping the balls to work the shaft.
Yeah, pretty much. That's basically it. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for the CD. I will definitely listen to that. I'm not a big music guy, so please don't expect much in terms of feedback from it.
Oh, no worries. Just if you enjoy it, enjoy it. If you don't, give it to someone who might.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, I've always been a comedy guy, but I've never even really dabbled in music. I took piano lessons for a couple of years as a child.
Yeah, were you good at it?
No,
You didn't stick to it.
No. I really didn't like practicing, and I know that that's kind of an important thing. I like comedy because I'm more naturally good at it.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Like I can get up and do comedy that I've thought of that I didn't write down and practice, but if I didn't write down and practice music, I'd just do a shitty job at noodling.
Yeah. I with the comedy thing, I also can't really. I never say a joke that I don't have written down somewhere. Like everything is pretty well rehearsed and
That's really good. I have a bad habit of writing my material the same day.
Yeah.
Of the show, and then ad-libbing when I screw up.
I've never done that once. I also don't tend to do. I also don't tend to do a whole lot of crowd work. Now, from what I understand, for tonight, I saw that Godso had posted something about 15-minute sets. I didn't realize that until I scrolled up earlier today, so I had planned for closer to like a 10 to 12-minute set. So I might fuck around with the crowd just a little bit. Just try a little bit of crowd work.
Do it. Have you done... I don't think I've seen you do crowd work.
I have not done crowd work, period.
That would be
I go up there, I tell my jokes as I've got them written, in the order I have them written, and that is all I do. I don't tend to go that deep. I like a sure thing.
You get a specific order, you say?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I always wondered that about one-liner comics. Like, do you just keep saying them until you forget them and then move on to the next one?
Yeah, I wish I
Is
could.
it random?
If I were to... I do specify an order, but it's not...
written in stone?
Yeah. Like, when I did the battle with Matt Keenan, I was just kind of picking them from the list. I didn't really... Just something that I thought might go well after his. because
at Sunday afternoons, people see that in St. John sometimes.
Sunday afternoons at McGill's Pub, and I believe it's the second or first Sunday of the month, I think.
First or second, I don't remember.
Yeah, or I think it was the second, so it was the 11th, so the second Sunday of the month. At McGill's Pub on the boardwalk, St. John, New Brunswick.
Yeah,
Canada.
so you do, even as one-liner, denote a specific order of the jokes.
Yeah. For him, when I was going against him, it was more or less he'd have a joke, and I thought that mine might get a better laugh if I said this one after his joke about this subject matter versus. So I was kind of like padding it that way too. But normally I do have a pretty specified order. In fact, I've got my set list right here in my hand, and I might have to just tweak it and twist it around just a little bit before I actually hit the stage.
Nice.
Just to make sure I get things in an appropriate order. And yeah, I might fuck around with the crowd just a little bit, just for
very cool. Very cool. I also don't do much crowd work. My crowd work is mostly geared to not needing them to respond.
Yeah.
So once in a while I do address them, but it's usually not at all because I want them to answer me. It's because I just want to engage with them a little bit.
Yeah.
If they answer me, then good.
Yeah.
But if they don't, I can still continue without having got the answer. So I gear it in case they're too shy to say something.
The first and only real time I made any big attempt at crowd work was I was hosting the second ever Comedy with Balls, now Something Funny. That was not a plug. And I had to come up with... Basically what happened is the first show I did my best 10 minutes I ever did. It was the best. I was like my fifth show, and I only had about 10 good, decent minutes of material. And then I was asked to host the next month, and the host on those shows was doing like half an hour roughly, like a 10-minute warm up and then 5 between each comic.
Right.
And I had no material, and I had to write about a half an hour in the span of about 3 weeks. So I tried crowd work at that point, just for a little bit of time filler near the beginning, and it worked out so poorly that I opted to not really try it again. But here's hoping that tonight it works out a little bit better.
Yeah, a little once bitten, twice shy.
Yeah, that's...
I'm the same way, but that's why I gear it the way I do now.
Yeah.
Like, whatever, if they do answer positive or negative, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I can still continue.
Yeah.
I think I've only got one bit where I actually hope for a real answer, and it's I've got a marketing bit that I do where I ask people to just name products.
Okay.
And I don't really care what they say. They don't have to be specific. Like, it doesn't have to be Johnson & Johnson's. They can just say dish soap.
Okay, yeah.
And then I've got a slogan for it, basically, is the premise.
Yeah.
But even then, it doesn't matter what they say.
Yeah. Yeah,
but I do hope they say something.
Well, if anyone attempts crowd work and there has to be a specific response from the crowd for it to work, that's not going to be a good scene for you. It's not going to work out well.
But that's the only one that I have where I actually need responses.
Yeah.
At all. The response doesn't have to be specific, but I do need one for that.
Yeah.
But for the rest of my crowd work stuff, it has nothing to do with them actually answering it, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I just go, a little shy. Well, whatever. I'll say it for you. Here you go.
Yeah. I find it can be a little bit, I wouldn't say hacky, because I think that anyone who can do crowd work well should automatically gain at least a little bit of respect for it. But it's always the same questions a lot of the time with crowd work. What do you do? Where are you from?
Yeah.
Are you guys married? That sort of thing. And I feel like there's only so much humor that can come from that subject matter at this point. I think it's just about dead.
It's, well, when you see people asking the exact same questions over and over, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Have you seen Mike Dambra?
I've seen him a couple times. I opened for him this past time he was here.
Well,
he's all crowd work.
That is a treat, that guy.
Oh, is he ever?
That is the best crowd work I've ever seen anyone do, ever.
He's probably the best I've ever seen, including on TV and things. Like, I watched the Netflix special about Todd Barry's all crowd work tour.
Haven't seen it.
It was good, but I'd say Dambra was better. Like, I was in the room for Dambra, so it is a little bit different.
Yeah, that will change your opinion of comedy if you're there for it.
Yeah, seeing somebody do crowd work on a screen is not quite the same as when you're in the room and the energy's moving and
you don't feel it.
Yeah.
But, who else? The Reverend Brian Joseph Giles did a set of all crowd work at No Jokes Barred Deluxe once.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he didn't write any material, just did crowd work the whole way, and he only got stumped once.
Oh.
But it was an appropriate stump, and he handled it well.
Yeah. Appropriate stump, by the way. That's going to be the name of my podcast.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Appropriate stump.
That's now the second best podcast name. So I hope you get that going soon.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
what else should we talk about? I don't know much about Dan McCarthy. Let's tell me more about him.
Okay, well, Dan McCarthy is a very boring suburban husband and father of 2 small children.
How small?
My youngest is 3 and my oldest is almost 5.
3 and 5. I've got
Yeah.
an 18 and a 12.
Yeah. Well, they're at least you got a little bit more spacing in there. You
Yeah.
had like a 6-year-old when you had another kid. I was sitting at like a year and a half with of being a dad before I had 2 of them, and man, that was rough.
I call them the tall and the small.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope the older one is the tall one.
He is.
Okay, because
He
that
is.
would be really awkward if it was other way around. No, they're both boys.
Both boys, yeah.
Mine are both boys as well.
We played God and won.
Yeah. Well, you see, I only use when I was conceiving my children, I only used my left nut. And so
that's
to verify
perfect.
that it's going to be a boy. A lot of people don't realize that that's how you can guarantee it, is you only use your left nut.
See, I did that by accident because one actually just got lost up inside me while I was going. So
Oh yeah, it was one of those.
Yeah.
It was a good sesh.
both times.
Yeah. No, I'm basically just that almost the exact stereotype of a boring suburban dad, except I write dirty jokes too. So that's basically all there is to know about Dan. There's really not a whole lot else there. I work at a tire shop as my day job.
What job do you have at the tire shop? Do you make
I
tires?
change tires.
Change tires.
I am a tire technician, which is why I desperately needed that shower at the end of the day today, because I was filthy. It's a dirty job, but someone's got to do it. Family business.
My mind is filthy enough that I have to take a shower every 2 hours or so anyway.
Yeah, I'm not a big. I wasn't even a big like bathing every day type dude. Like I've always been like an every second day shower guy, because I always find it like makes me all dried out and whatnot. But working where I work, I have to do it every day.
Yeah, I would imagine you'd have to.
Yeah.
Oily.
Very, very. A lot of chemicals, a lot of dirt, mud, a variety of other things that get on me.
Yeah. Who are some of your favorite comics besides the one-liners?
Besides the one-liners, I think the greatest comic of all time is George Carlin, and I don't even think it's an argument.
I would not argue with that because he is one of my heroes. He's actually, I've got the Holy Trinity for me would be George Carlin, Louis C.K., and Mitch Hedberg.
I can't disagree with any of those. I would say Carlin is my favorite. My favorite current living comedian is probably Jim Jeffries.
Jim Jeffries is good.
So good. Bill Burr is, of course, very close behind him.
I haven't seen enough Bill Burr yet, but I did see one special that I laughed quite a bit at.
He's very, very good. Louis is another one that is I can't fault him in any way.
He's consistently made me laugh every special.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And 5-minute thing, all the things.
Yep. I love the show as well. I was a big fan of Louis the series.
Yeah, I love the show also. Because I like the dark moments as well as the funny ones.
Yes. He did dark comedy better than any other half-hour sitcom type show. I wouldn't even really call it a sitcom, but just that half-hour format of a comedy series. He did that with the dark jokes way better than anybody else. I was a big fan of the series.
Yeah, I find that he directs his show like as though it were a movie.
Yes. Did you watch Horace and Pete?
Yeah, Horace and Pete was excellent.
I only watched the first episode, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I watched it a couple of days ago, and I'm going to continue.
There are some moments in that show that just give you chills.
Yeah, it was so well acted, and you get Alan Alda and Steve Buscemi and Laurie Metcalf, and
Laurie Metcalf was brilliant in that.
She is a damn good actress. I'm only aware that she's on it. I have not seen her on it yet, but she's a fantastic actress, so I'm very much looking forward to
she
that.
was great. And Alan Alda, I actually was skeptical about him, but he pulled that character off.
Oh, he did very well.
Very well.
Yeah, I'm a big Alan Alda fan. I loved MASH growing up, so my parents were big MASH people. So
so were mine. Well, my mother was.
Yeah.
And so I used to watch MASH with her. And
Yeah.
but I always hated Alan Alda.
Oh, okay.
I always found him too cheeky.
He's very, also got very preachy near the end of the series. Like, the whole thing basically became about Vietnam, and it got very, preachy, but it was still a very well done comedy series for its time.
Shout out to Jim Norton. I just saw 3 specials of his recently, and they were all hilarious.
I've always been a big Jim fan. He's very good.
I always found him funny. Like, I think he's a funny guy. Candidly, I listen to him on Opie and Anthony all the time.
Yeah.
And although I think it should just be called Opie and Jim now, isn't it?
It's Jim and Sam now.
Oh, it's Jim and Sam.
Yeah,
now.
Opie's gone too.
Okay.
Yeah. It's Sam Roberts, who does a wrestling podcast that I listen to as well.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was a wrestling guy.
Yeah. He's a fan. He's not a participant. But I'm a big fan of Jim Norton. There are very few comics that are just like a big deal in comedy that I'm not a big fan of. Like, I generally like most of them, because as long as you're doing something that is funny, I'm going to laugh at it and I'm going to enjoy it.
I have a few that are made into a big deal that I think are awful.
I only have one, and I did not even think that I think she's particularly awful. I just don't think that she's for me. Maria Bamford.
Maria Bamford. I haven't seen any of her specials. I've only really seen her do short bits, and they were decent.
That's the thing with Maria Bamford. I love about 10 minutes of her, but I think a
I've
full
seen.
hour
I've
is
seen
too
her
much.
in maybe 10-minute spurts here and there.
Yeah.
Just doing short bits.
Yeah.
Amy Schumer's leather special was terrible.
It was awful. It was terrible, but I don't try to judge her off that. I try to judge her based on her earlier stuff, which was
I
excellent.
haven't seen her earlier stuff. I know her from the roasts, and she's hilarious on those.
Yes, I was a big fan of young Amy Schumer, but she got kind of roped into the social justice warrior type Twitter mob, political correctness type deal, and
well, that's ridiculous. You can't be a dirty comic and a political correct warrior.
Yeah, exactly. That's my and also, come on, Amy, you're a better comedian than just go up on the stage and talk about your vagina for like 40 minutes. It really wasn't that great. I was not a big fan of her last special. But
no, her last special was terrible, and her excuse for it being terrible was also awful.
What was the excuse?
Oh, she said that the alt-right were in league to make her unpopular.
Of course.
And it's their fault that she got bad ratings on Netflix.
Well, yeah, I know that the first thing I thought when I watched it was, well, I should definitely judge this based on my political stance and not as what it is.
Yeah, and for the record, I've never heard anyone from the alt-right mention Amy Schumer.
No, nor have I. I shouldn't say that. I know that a couple of, just from the Pepe the Frog meme that is such a big deal amongst the alt-right, there was one of her, there was a meme I saw a little while back of her physically stealing jokes from a couple of people, because she did get caught with... Some
of those circumstances are suspicious.
Yeah. But a lot of time... I have a hard time with this because I was just found out that a joke that I was doing for quite some time was a joke that another comic does quite regularly as well.
I hate that.
Yeah, but it was a thought that I had independently. I didn't intend to steal anybody else's joke.
And you probably didn't. It is possible.
It's just parallel thinking.
Yeah. And that can happen.
Yeah.
But there are people who do it for real and they know they're stealing it.
Yeah.
And they're just like, well, I'll just alter it this tiny little bit or whatever. Or not even alter it in some cases. I've seen the exact identical joke word for word.
Yeah.
And some of them are just too suspicious for me to let go.
Yeah. I can see that. Now mind you, I don't think that if you get caught stealing a joke that you should automatically be considered to be, I wouldn't say in the wrong. I think that if you blatantly steal a joke, yes, you're straight up in the wrong. But I think that people are too fast to jump to, well, this is a similar subject matter, you clearly stole it. And that bugs me a
similar
little bit.
subject matter is fine.
Yeah.
If the joke is different.
If the punchline and setup are identical, then I get it. But
so here's mine. I have this joke. I stopped doing it because of this, and I kind of hate that I had to stop.
Yeah.
But there's this guy called Santiago something or other.
Okay.
I can't remember his whole fucking name, but I hate him. I think he's a terrible comic. So he'll never have me open for him. But but I would,
that Santiago something or other.
But I would do it. I would still open for him if he wanted me to.
Of course.
But I don't like his style. He doesn't have a lot of jokes, and then he just does these jerky movements, like as though that's the punchline.
Okay, gotcha.
But they have nothing to do with his joke. Like his I don't know. It's you have to see it to understand what I mean.
Are you referring to Sebastian Maniscalco?
Yes, that guy.
Okay.
Thank you. I could not remember his name for the life of me.
I haven't seen enough of him to say one way or the other.
And he's one of those guys also who just like, I pronounce a word funny, therefore you should laugh.
Okay, yeah.
I don't have a joke about it, but I had to call Uber to get here. You ever heard of Uber?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I took a drive with the Uber.
Yeah.
And then he still doesn't have a joke about it, and I don't understand why that's supposed to be funny.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of...
Then he does this little dance thing that has nothing to do with the joke either.
Well, that being said, Brian Regan does kind of similar stuff too, where he'll just kind of say a word weird, but there always is a punchline there.
Brian Regan bothers me as well, though.
I'm a big Brian Regan fan.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Okay,
we'll
get to his problems.
I love a good, clean comedian.
So what's this guy's name? Sebastian
Maniscalco, I believe is the last name, but he usually just goes by Sebastian.
Okay, so here's my joke.
Okay.
I mentioned my kids and how when they turn 7, you ask them, what do you want to be when you grow up? And my first kid says whatever he says.
Yeah.
He said video game designer. I said, cool, I'll nurture that. My second kid, when he turned 7, I asked him the same question. He said he wanted to be an actor or a director. And I said, that's so cool. Here's some pornography, whatever.
Yeah.
And nurturing.
Yes.
You know what I wanted to be when I grow up? A robot.
I remember this bit, yes.
That is
yes.
my joke.
Yeah.
Then I went to the Montreal Comedy Festival just for laughs last summer, and I saw this guy was on one of the showcases, and he was just introducing another comic, and he goes, this guy wanted to be a comic since he was 6 years old. You know what I wanted to be when I was 6 years old?
A robot?
A fire truck.
A fire truck. Okay, that's close.
That's so similar that I can't do my joke anymore.
Yeah. Mine, the one that I found out that I had been using that was someone else was using was actually quite a few years earlier. But I have a joke that a friend of mine reminded me the other day that Michael Jackson's been dead for 8 years, and you know what that means? He's black again. And,
that's not yours?
Well...
I've only heard you do that one. I like that joke.
Yeah, I love that joke too, and that was a completely independent thought that I had. But apparently around the time that Michael Jackson died, there was a comic in a town that was close by here, Halifax, who said, Michael Jackson decided he was going to get cremated, so you know what that means? He's black again. So it's very similar. I'm not using it anymore. It's done. It's gone. It's out of the repertoire.
Damn it. Yeah, you're the same as me.
Yeah. I have to get rid of that. Yeah, I don't care if it was an independent thought. Someone else is using it, I'm done.
Even though mine was also an independent thought, because I'd never heard of this guy before.
Yeah.
And so I don't even know if he does it regularly.
Yeah.
But, I took it out of my bit.
Yeah.
Because I won't knowingly do that.
Now, I watch more comedy than the average person does, because, like I mentioned earlier, I'm not a big music guy. Even growing up, I didn't really have a whole lot of attachment to it, so I was always a big comedy guy. I was, back when Napster was a thing, I was downloading George Carlin and Richard Pryor and stuff. So I've absorbed a lot of it, but even I can't see all of it. It's most of what I watch, and you still can't see it all. So there's a good possibility that, someone else has made a joke or has written something quite similar to a joke that you have, and if it turns out that they already had it, then I feel like it's only your duty as a comedian to bow back and let them have it. If they had it first, that's only fair.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Now, Brian Regan,
yes.
I checked him out recently.
Yes.
Because I kept hearing people go on about how good he was, even though his work's clean.
Yeah.
Which that shouldn't be a problem. Like,
I love clean comedy.
Clean comedy's fine if your joke is funny.
Yeah.
And so what I did was I looked up his name.
Yep.
And I clicked on the first clip that was short.
Yep.
And it was him with Jerry Seinfeld, comedians in cars.
Getting coffee.
Yep. And it was just a short clip of Jerry going, you know, you and I have a similar joke. And then it clips to his previous joke, Jerry's previous joke, and then Brian Regan doing the same joke.
Okay.
It's almost the same setup and punchline.
Yeah, they have a very, very similar comedic style. So that would make sense that would happen.
So I went, okay, that can happen.
Yeah.
I'll give him this one.
Yeah.
And then I picked the next clip that was like the autoplay suggestion.
Yep.
And that one happened to be Brian Regan, more recent,
Yep.
doing, I think it was Kimmel. And he does Louis' bit from last year.
Really?
Yeah. Well, very similar.
Okay.
But Louis' bit was controversial, and it made the news. It was a pretty big thing.
Okay.
When he did the monologue on SNL.
Okay.
And he had a bit where he was like, they gotta stop fighting in the Middle East. I don't know what's going on there, but they've been fighting for hundreds of years or whatever. And, you know, you just gotta treat them like children. You just want to, like, say, this is my daughter, and then this is my other daughter, you know, because I like this one better.
Yeah.
And then he turns out he's like, this has something to do with Libya and Syria or wherever the fuck.
Yeah.
Then, so this is 2016, late 2016, I think. And then Brian Regan's thing was just like a month ago.
Okay.
On Kimmel. And he goes, you know what they haven't tried over there in Syria? Is sending over a good dad. Hey, are you two gonna fight? Well, knock it off, huh?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's similar.
And
I get that.
It was the same fucking joke.
I get that.
Except Louis was funny. So
Yeah.
then I did attempt to watch a whole special of his,
Yes.
and I did not laugh a single time.
Really?
Yeah.
He makes me giggle uncontrollably.
Maybe I gotta see more, but
I'm a big fan.
the one I watched didn't do it for me.
He did something about a year ago, maybe two, that was one of the ballsiest things I've ever heard a comic do. He did a full hour special live, like broadcast live on TV.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty neat thing.
But he's got the confidence, right? He's got years.
Oh, he's been
behind
there.
him.
He's doing it for 30 years. Like he's been a big he's been a big name in comedy for a long time.
Yeah, like right now, I would be comfortable doing about 45 minutes live.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be comfortable with that.
I would. If I was offered a TV spot, I could do 45 live, no problem.
Yeah.
And be comfortable.
Yeah, I would.
If I was asked to do a full hour, I don't know if I'm ready for that yet.
Yeah, I have.
I'm getting there.
I have probably, well, I know from what I've done, I've got about an hour and 30, hour 25, hour 30 of material
Nice.
out there. I wouldn't say any of it's TV ready or anything, though. I would say I might have like 10 minutes worth of TV ready stuff, because a lot of the stuff I did early on was localized. I did a lot of jokes about St. John. I did a lot of jokes about just New Brunswick, and unfortunately that just doesn't play to a big crowd elsewhere, right? But
Right,
it
no,
plays
it's-
well here.
Yeah, because people here understand. the
Oh my
joke.
God, do they ever? Nothing they love more than hearing the name of their own town, except hearing the name of their own town in a British accent. Now that will sell tickets. Well, sorry, that'll give away tickets. Yeah, that was a Mullinger crack, but Mullinger's not going to hear this, so that's all good.
Who knows? Maybe he'll pay attention to the things.
Well, he doesn't seem to pay much attention to the local comics in general. He calls us all legends, asks one of us to open for him per year, and that's about it. I've seen that same act enough times that I could probably recite it, and I'm done with it. I really don't need to hear it again. It's unfortunate. I'd love to see James do some new material, because I think he honestly is a good comedian. I just don't think that that 3 years worth of the exact same New Brunswick jokes are going to get over anymore. So,
Yeah.
that being said, there are some other comics in the area who do the same material over and over and over and over and over again. And
This is true. I've got a policy of switching my material a lot.
yeah, I don't repeat at a venue.
You've seen me. I don't like to do the same stuff.
I don't think
At
I've
the
ever
same
seen
place twice.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen the same Steve Fudge set twice.
Well, you'll
or
never
even-
see the same Steve Fudge set twice, because
Yeah.
I always change something.
Yeah,
Even if I'm doing the same material, I've
Yeah.
changed something, or I've added something,
Yeah.
or taken something else out in replace of something else.
yeah,
But Yeah, if I'm doing the same venue twice in a row, I will do a different set.
Yeah.
I'll still cycle through them, and if it's been a few months since I've done that material at that place, I might bring it back.
Yes.
But I've got enough material that I can do a different one at the same place once a week for 2 months.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
If there was a weekly show. Now, that being said, I've been on... I managed to get on Yuck Yucks last week.
Tell me about that. I haven't managed to get on yet, but Barnes said he put me on August.
Oh, that's great. Now,
He actually offered me July, but I have a show that night, so I can't.
Now, I don't know if this is because I've got a hair of clout in the Yuck Yucks community, but it's only a hair. After my 4th or 5th set I ever did, it was a Comedy with Balls set, and I did really, really well, and the producer of that show sent in a video of it to a booker in Toronto for Yuck Yucks.
That would have been Jessica.
Jessica Ginty, yes.
She recently quit, so...
Oh, okay.
There's a new guy called Ryan.
Oh, okay. And I got booked in Halifax for my for a 20-minute middle set in June of last year.
That's great.
Unfortunately, I couldn't do it. I had to do family things, and I didn't end up getting to go.
Oh,
but
that's shitty.
Steve Barnes was aware that I was booked for Yucks in Halifax. So when I showed up at Yucks last week and asked, hey, comedians still get in for free? And Steve said, of course. And I kind of hinted at him, like, hey, would it be cool if I got a guest set? He was more than happy to have me. But that being said, I don't know if every comic is going to get extended the same courtesy.
Right, yeah. My spot he was talking about was they started their amateur nights finally.
Yes.
And so he asked me to do the 26th, but I've got a show in Hampton with Keenan.
Yes, I'm also...
Oh, and you're on that
yes.
same show.
I am on that same show.
Oh, it's going to be such a good show.
That is... I was also booked for the July Yucks amateur night, but that was when it was the 19th, before there was a benefit for that night. And they had to switch it to the 26th, and then I had to cancel because I'm not going to screw poor Matt Keenan over just because of Yuck Yucks being a bigger name show. But
yeah, same here.
Yeah.
I was already booked.
Yeah, and we did lose a comic to that off of our show, but she's been replaced, so it's all good.
Who's that?
Camille. Camille was supposed to be on our show, but she opted for the Yuck Yucks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But that's all right. That's all right. She's been replaced with Shand, who I have not seen live yet. She's one of Ken Bolton's students.
Okay, yeah, I saw Shand on the Virgins night.
Yeah, I wish I could have made it to that, but I was busy that evening.
The place was crazy packed.
Oh, I know.
We're gonna start putting Virgin on all our posters.
Yeah. That would. Well, Virgins, man, I tell you, they gather a crowd, whether it be Virgins doing comedy or getting stoned in the Middle East, whatever. Virgins attract a crowd.
Yeah, or filling up a volcano.
Yeah, there's all kinds of things. They're useful. A million uses, Virgins.
Yeah, tempting people into suicide bombing.
Yeah, yes. Well, 72 of them is awful tempting, I'm not going to lie.
It's a lot of Virgins.
That's a lot.
Look, 72 kilometers.
Yeah, there you go.
That was a cool coincidence.
It came
there.
full circle.
How about that? For those of you at home, we just passed a sign that said 72 right after he said that.
Yeah.
Not on purpose. Now we're passing one called 69, so we're going to go down on each other, obviously.
Simultaneously.
Simultaneously while I drive.
It's going to be tricky.
Yeah, it's going to be awkward.
Yeah.
Just make sure you push your balls to the side.
That's a task, but I'll try.
I need to be able to see.
Of course. Now,
rest them on my high cheekbones.
Are you excited to perform in a town that is a saint that's like your name?
Yeah, it's kind of neat, except he spells it different, so I might just look down on him a little bit.
Are you a VN guy?
Yeah, I'm a V.
Okay.
I'm all about the V.
Yeah, well, fair enough. The P is not great, but V is pretty great.
Yeah. Rather a V than a P. Tie her up on the chain, really, if you look at it.
Not alphabetically.
Well, it's further up.
Well, fair enough. But I would say that the hierarchy of the alphabet goes from beginning to end.
I guess so.
Yeah, I'm working on a bit about that like why the alphabet became in its own order, and I think I've decided that it would make a better children's book than a comedy bit. So I think I'm just going to do something for my kids with it, and
nice.
And figure out it's just a little fictionalized thing of how they got their order.
All right. So do you think we're being rude to our other passenger, and we should
I was thinking that.
Maybe
I was
cut
thinking,
this off. Let's do a couple more minutes and then we'll call it.
Okay, that's
a
fair.
thing.
That's fair because she's been awfully nice by being quiet this entire time.
Yeah, she's been absolutely
and I am
sweet.
not. I'm not good at being quiet, so that's a skill that I do not possess.
Yeah, my kids take after me. Actually, they're almost always talking.
Yeah.
Even when they're breathing in.
Both my boys are big talkers.
The thing they got from me.
Yeah. Both my sons are big talkers, big jokers. My eldest son loves knock jokes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes, both my kids love joking.
Yeah.
And they're quick too.
Yeah.
They're witty. I like it.
That's wit will get you. Well, it won't get you anywhere unless you apply it to something properly. But wit is one of the things I find most admirable in a person is just their ability to say something quick off the cuff and funny. That's a skill that I feel like it's overlooked a lot.
I agree.
It's damn valuable.
And both of mine have got some of that in them, and it's great.
Yeah. Mine like to be funny, but they're not really funny yet. They're not really capable of being funny.
Oh, mine are getting there.
Yeah.
We started this new tradition of watching Friday the 13th from start to finish.
Okay.
We're up to the next one we're watching is the 8th one.
Okay.
Jason Takes Manhattan.
Yeah.
And what we do is sort of, we just make fun of the movie while we watch it. We do a play-by-play on Facebook.
That's fantastic.
But the smallest of the two, the 12-year-old, we started watching the very first one. In the first 2 minutes of the film,
Yeah.
you see a girl hitchhiking or walking down the road or whatever, and then you see that camera view of somebody lurking in the bushes.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And he goes, this 12-year-old, without skipping a beat, goes, "Oh my God, I know who the murderer is. It's the cameraman." Clever. That's fast wit.
That is
right
damn
there.
good. That is damn good. Now, I actually have a bit of Dan McCarthy trivia pertaining to that movie, the first Friday the 13th.
Oh, let's do that.
It's nothing big, but I worked for Wyndham for a long time. It was my job when I was in my early 20s.
God rest your soul.
It was terrible. But I was booking for a hotel in Orlando that had a horror convention, and I booked a room and spoke on the phone for about 15 minutes with a guy named Ari Lehman, who he played Jason when he jumps out of the water at the end of the movie.
Nice.
Yeah, so I actually got to talk to that guy.
That's
he
hilarious.
seemed very cool. He seemed like a really nice dude. So, well, yeah, that's my biggest brush with stardom I've had so far.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty
Mine would be, I met Rutger Hauer.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, for those kids at home, it's the bad guy from Blade Runner.
Yeah, and the hobo with the shotgun.
And the hobo with the shotgun. I met him, me and my friend Bill, who's my roommate currently, were monsters in this film.
Oh.
We were cast as extras to be monsters, full body costume and everything.
Oh, neat.
We looked ghastly. It was great. I loved it. And so we got paid to crawl through mud, and I got to kill a girl.
Really?
Yeah, and I got to play 2 different monsters because my first monster got shot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then I got to play a different one. That was really cool.
Yeah.
And Rutger Hauer was one of the main actors in that film.
Okay, what was it called?
It was originally released as Hemoglobin
Okay.
until it got really bad reviews. And then it was re-released as Bleeders.
Bleeders. Okay.
So I think that's its current state.
Okay. All right.
It stars the guy from La Femme Nikita TV show.
Oh, okay.
The French guy with the flat face.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know his name.
I
but
don't either, but I would recognize the guy. But
If
yeah.
you saw the show, then it's that guy.
Yeah. Okay. That's neat. That's awesome. You've been in any other movies?
No.
That was the only. Okay.
No, it's my only film.
Yeah, that's still pretty cool though.
Yeah, I love it.
It's a lot more than me. I've never been on
I'd be happy to be in more stuff. I love acting. It's my favorite.
Yeah, I am a terrible actor, so I don't even make an attempt at it.
I'm doing all right. We get this Hard Time show going on. I've been doing Homeland for a few years with James Hovey and Adam Landry.
Yeah.
And some other people. And now Matt Copeland started a new show called Hard Times that I'm acting in. And
Yes.
I've done some writing for both shows, and it's been pretty good.
Yeah. I obviously haven't seen any Hard Times yet because it's not out yet.
Not out yet. We're doing a full 6 episodes before we release them.
Okay.
We just recently acquired Jimmy Flynn.
I saw that.
To guest star.
Yeah.
In at least one episode. So
that's awesome.
We're going to see where that goes, and
Yeah.
we're filming that one on the 23rd, I think.
That's pretty cool.
On the 23rd. I don't know why I said it like that.
Well, it's bilingual province.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's
Wasn't
really
at all
cool.
tripped over my own speaking.
Yeah. Well, the whole Homeland thing, too. I will say this. Now, no offense to you and James, but I find Adam Landry to be a piece of comedic gold.
He is. He's the funniest when he's just being his character.
That character
Ad-libbing.
is so Jesus good. It is so funny, and I can't help but giggle myself silly.
His ad-libbing is hilarious when he's in that character.
Yeah, he's hosting tonight at No Jokes Barred Deluxe. So is he? I'm not sure if he's hosting in character. I'd imagine he probably is.
He will be, yeah.
And here's hoping that James is also there to play off, because James plays a pretty decent straight man to him, too.
Adam doesn't like to write stand-up material.
That's a shame, because I think he's a really funny guy.
He is a funny guy, and he could probably write a set and do a funny thing. But we just passed a place called Latang.
It's very that's French boys going out to get laid.
Yeah, so
let's
stop sucking Adam's dick here, and
fair enough.
What's a good closer topic?
We're about to pass St. George.
Community strong.
Yes, it's
apparently
one of, we will have been in like 4 saints.
Run by Yoda.
Just we started in St. John. We are now passing through St. George. We will pass through St. Andrews, and then we're going to end up in St. Stephen for the show.
How about that?
Yeah, there's a lot of saints. But we're
rule of threes for comedy.
Yeah, but St. John is the only one that spells it all the way out. We don't do the ST period, John.
No ST period.
No.
We don't have our period in St. John.
Well, no, it's because we have great local reverence for the word ain't. That was one of the first stand-up jokes I ever wrote.
I like it.
Yeah, I like that joke.
I take it you don't use it anymore.
It was actually my closing bit. I had my original closing bit was a bunch of fake factoids about the city of St. John. I called it my St. John tourism bit, but none of them were real facts. It was just locals are leading the region, and guys who think that black jeans and dress pants are the same fucking thing. Just stuff like that. But that was the last line, was the ST period John line. Was my absolute closing bit on my first 5 sets, probably.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll close it off on that one.
Okay.
Any last words?
I got nothing.
Okay.
This was fun. This was really fun.
Me too. Thank you for indulging me on this podcast, and hope to have you again.
Thank you for having me, and I would like to be on another podcast with you. Perhaps not in a car next time.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
We can orchestrate that.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. All right. Cool, Steve.
Sanitary Handshake out.
All right,
Doctor.
I pat my back just to pass the time, 'cause I love myself.